everybody, how you doing? This is Mike Davis, the old guy who likes comics, coming to you with another episode of The Old Guy Who Likes Comics. And what we are going to be doing today is a review of Suicide Squad. That's right, Suicide Squad. Now, I know, I'm supposed to get to you guys my experience at Comic-Con. That is coming. Been really busy. My wife and I, we own our own business, so we've been working on some projects. So I'm going to do my best to get that to you next week or the following week. We'll have that up. But what we're going to do today is a review. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about calling these reviews of movies the old guy reviews, or reviews from the old guy, or something like that. But we'll come up with a name. But we went last week to see the movie Suicide Squad, and I really wanted to do my own review of that. So I have here with me today some guests. I have my son-in-law, Dante, the Nightwing Wesley, and my nephew Aaron, the Wolverine Richard. You know who their favorite characters are by me saying that. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the movie The Suicide Squad and what we thought about it, how we felt about it. I'll be giving my grade. They'll be talking about what they thought about the movie. Just to let you guys know, if you disagree with me, that's fine. It's okay to disagree with me. You can disagree with me all you want. You may not be on the show again, but you can disagree with me all you want. Okay, so let's get into this, The Suicide Squad. By the way, that movie has been out now for a week, and there will be spoilers. We'll be talking about what happened in the movie, so if you have not seen the movie, don't watch this, because there will be spoilers. So this is your chance to turn off the YouTube channel now. Okay, so we're going to talk about what happened in the movie, what we thought about it, how we felt about it. So let's talk about, first of all, what we liked about the movie. The movie's been out for a week now. By the way, you know, this movie's had a lot of controversy. Well, I shouldn't say controversy, but it's had a lot of mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, the last time I checked was about a day or two. I think it was at 23, 26%.
Started at 34.
Started at 34. It's down to
worse.
about, what, 26% now?
But still, overall, still better than Batman vs. Superman. So.
Yeah, and much better than the Fantastic Four movie that came out.
Yes.
Watching paint dry is better than a Fantastic Four movie. All right, so we're going to talk about this movie. Like I said, a lot of mixed reviews. Some people hate the movie. Some people love the movie. In terms of critical reviews by professional critics, the movie has been just blasted. A lot of critics have not liked this movie. The last time I saw it in terms of the general public was like on Rotten Tomatoes, 73% liked it.
Yes.
So let's talk about this movie. What did you guys like about the movie? What did you like? Who wants to go first?
All right. Well, likes. I did like Harley Quinn. I thought she played an excellent Harley Quinn.
Okay. So you like Margot Robbie?
Yeah. I'm horrible at actor names. If I don't know them in most of the movies I watch, then I probably will never know them. So I'm just gonna probably go by their character names.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So you like the Harley Quinn portrayal?
Yeah, I think she did a excellent Harley Quinn.
You like Harley?
Harley was good. I think they had some very good action in it as well.
Yeah. I would agree. I think the movie had good action. What do you think?
Yeah, it had interesting action.
Interesting.
Interesting action.
I like the fact that DC finally took a risk with this movie.
Okay.
And made it kind of, a Suicide Squad that's kind of like risky. You know, they came from Superman and Batman, and they're doing Wonder Woman and Flash, all these hero movies, but they're actually doing a Suicide Squad, like an evil guy movie, and that's interesting. I like Will Smith, because, I mean, who doesn't like Will Smith?
Okay.
His movies kind of been bombing lately, but this movie, he's a good actor.
I heard the Concussion was good. I haven't seen it, but I heard it.
I did. I liked it.
Was it good? Okay.
It was.
But you liked him. You liked him as Deadshot, because Will Smith wasn't Deadshot, so you liked him as Deadshot.
Right, because he pretty much plays another Will Smith character.
Okay.
So it was Will Smith. It was Deadshot playing as Will Smith.
Okay.
Right. and it was good.
I think that's accurate, actually.
I like Waller, the character. She.
Yeah, Waller was good.
And again, it was her character playing, because she pretty much plays the same role as she did in How to Get Away with Murder. That was, if you ever see the show, it's the same.
Another show I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's the same role pretty much. Very
Okay.
bossy, very authoritative. You know, I get what I want kind of role, and that was good. I did like Harley Quinn. That was a fair, at least a B. I'll give her grade kind of a B for her role because she hasn't really been on live TV. So
Okay.
I like
Okay.
like that. And action was decent. It was good.
Yeah,
It was.
I like the action. I thought it was. I have to admit, I'm not a fan. I had not been a fan of the Suicide Squad comic book.
Right.
Mostly for me because it was like, everybody, and I have to say this. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is a superhero movie." I'm like, this is not a superhero movie. These are villains.
They're all villains.
Which is the reason. I mean, when we first talked about it, I went, "Yeah, probably not going to go see it because it's super villains, and I don't want to see super villains." And but I went because we started this channel. I thought I want to give a review of it. I have to say this. I was entertained by the movie, which surprised me.
Right.
I wasn't sure how I was going to like it, and I purposely did not watch any reviews. We went. When did we go?
Sunday.
We went Sunday morning
Yeah.
we went to an 11 o'clock showing, so it was
Right.
2 days after it opened. I purposely did not watch or listen to any reviews. I wanted to be fresh, but I liked the action. I thought that it was entertaining.
Yeah, it was.
There were laughs.
It was.
in
It was.
the
Yeah,
movies.
the
There were some
comedy,
laughs.
the comedy was pretty good.
Yeah,
Comedy
so
was-
that's what I liked it. We're going to talk more about the characters, but I did like the characters. What else did I like about the movie? I liked. I actually felt like, because I've seen Batman v Superman. I've seen Man of Steel. I did not like Man of Steel, as you guys know. I did not like Batman v Superman. In case you're wondering, I'm a huge DC fan. Okay, I think I'm more of a DC fan than Marvel. I like both. I like both Marvel and DC, but DC kind of edges it out. And I didn't like Man of Steel. I didn't like Batman v Superman.
Who did?
I thought actually that DC took a step forward in this. I thought they did better than the other two movies. So because I was entertained, I did enjoy it. I laughed at some places in the movie. So there were things. We're going to talk about the characters. I did like the characters.
And it kept your attention.
It kept your attention.
It
Action was pretty well paced.
It wasn't like the Batman vs Superman. We were just like a lot of
It gets
shit
high,
didn't make
then
sense.
slow, then high, then slow.
So I think DC did better at this movie than they did in the previous movies. I think they took a step forward. I think they upped it just a bit.
Right.
So I did, and I will say right here, I liked the movie. However, there are things that I didn't like. So let's get into that. What didn't you like about the movie?
Everything else besides the action.
Everything else with the action.
So again.
Basically didn't like the movie.
Right. but the comedy was good, but the pacing was off for me. I think
I heard a lot of reviewers say that because I've watched a lot of reviewers since then. And everybody says the pacing was not good.
I told you guys as soon as the movie ended, I felt like it was a little rushed.
Yeah, it was.
It was that.
Because remember, the movie was already done, but then when
they went back and
Deadpool came
recut
out, here's why. When Deadpool came out, and it was fabulous. People loved Deadpool. It was a success.
And you saw Deadpool.
Yeah, and then when Batman vs Superman came out too, they actually went back and did some extra cuts. Now again, there's speculation about what cuts and what they actually did, but there was a problem.
I've heard they
there.
took out a lot of Joker.
They took a lot of Joker.
They took out a lot of Joker footage.
That's another thing I did not. That's another thing I did not like. There's to me, for the type of script it had, there's too much Joker. It was not a Joker.
Oh, you thought it was too much Joker?
Yeah, it wasn't a Joker.
I thought it was too little Joker.
No, because
And I just thought it was just enough.
because it's
okay, so too little, too much, just enough.
It was like
we're balanced.
What I mean by too little, like every time they showed him, it was just like in short clips.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't
I see the
like
point.
a long dialogue that he had or anything like that. It was
Yeah.
just like boom, little clips, little flashbacks type things.
He gave you a taste of Joker, but there was supposed to be another script where Joker was supposed to be. The Suicide Squad team was supposed to be chasing Joker.
Right, he was supposed to be the main person they're going
And
after.
somebody was looking at the trailers and saying that Joker is the main villain.
And they kind of gave you that impression
They did.
Exactly.
in the trailers that
Exactly.
okay, he's going to be really kind of the center.
Right.
I actually heard that somebody's trying to sue them because of that.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's not enough Joker.
Yeah.
And then I didn't like Joker. Gangster Joker is not.
Yeah, I have to say right now, and I was going to say this, I did not like Jared Leto's Joker. His characterization of it, didn't like it.
Because you could have just copied pretty much, because after Christopher Nolan's Joker, people wanted more.
Yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker?
Yeah, Heath Ledger.
Okay.
And the third one, of course he was dead, but the third one, people wanted more, right? So you could just pretty much copy that Joker, and we would have been fine.
Yeah, the Joker that they did, because I remember we're sitting there going, this is not the Joker. I tell you when I first realized it was going to be a problem. When Amanda Waller in the movie, she made the statement, about the Joker and about Harley, and she said Harley is more crazy than the Joker. And I remember sitting there going, no, that's wrong.
Yes.
Harley is not.
Nobody can be crazier
than the Joker.
Right.
But in the movie, she is crazier than the Joker, which is a problem because that's not the Joker.
And one thing I had with Harley, one thing I didn't like was the whole her jumping in the Ace chemicals.
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense because it never happened.
Yeah, it's not part of the storyline.
It is.
And I think it was too, and see, that's my problem.
Apparently she was already crazy before she jumped in the chemicals.
Well, that's the thing about Harley is that in the comic book, she's already a little off.
Yeah.
Right.
She's already off.
Right. But I believe they favored Harley Quinn and Joker way too much. Then they got on Deadshot, then Waller, then everybody else is kind of on the side, and they kind of did that kind of.
And see, I thought, well, in terms of, I watched some of the other reviews, and one of the things that one of the guys said, and I agree with this. I mentioned this guy in one of the in my last one, Aaron Thorgy. He does Professor Thorgy, and he said the problem is if you take Joker out, you don't miss it from the movie. Because he really did not contribute anything to the movie. I felt that they portrayed him as a thug, as a gangster, or a gang member, a gang banger. I'm going like, this is not the Joker.
I feel like he was too in love with Harley. Like, me growing up, I remember in the cartoons that if Harley ever got caught, he would be like, all right, see you later. I'll come get you when I need you.
Yeah, here he does seem obsessed with her.
Yeah. Or a little too obsessed.
A little in love with her, but in the comics, you don't get that.
But what about that scene when they get in a Lamborghini? Again, spoiler. They get in a Lamborghini. They fly into the river.
Right.
Joker's nowhere to be found.
Right. That was closer to the comic book.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's like
he ditched her.
Right. So a lot because like you said, they cut scenes out. There's supposed to be scenes where Joker actually was beating Harley.
Oh.
Closer to the comic, and which they took out. And even Jared Leto said that I'm upset because they took a lot of scenes from Suicide Squad. But again, it's not. You might as well call it Joker and Harley Quinn Suicide Squad. It's supposed to me, it's supposed to be Suicide Squad.
Right, and the thing about it, I will agree with you on this. The movie focused a lot on Harley and Deadshot.
Yes.
So you could either say it's the Deadshot Harley movie, the Deadshot Joker Harley movie. It was not truly the Suicide Squad.
Exactly.
It was.
I didn't feel like they gave enough background to everybody. Yeah. Their main focus was Deadshot and Harley. Yeah. Everybody else is just like, all right, quick background.
Kind of there.
Quick background.
Yeah. It's like we said Suicide Squad, so we need these other actors. Exactly. The other thing I didn't like was the villain that they chose for this.
Enchantress.
Enchantress and her brother.
Oh my.
Spoiler, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
The problem was. Here's the other thing. Let me say this too. Let me back up for a second. The other thing I didn't like was this. And when I mean didn't like, to me it's more of a problem. Again, and let me say, we enjoyed the movie, but these were problems I had with it. And and later on I'm going to give my rating for it, and hearing this will explain why I gave this rating. Number one, they said they kept saying in the movie, these are the worst of the worst.
Yes.
These are the bad of the bad.
Yes.
But when you watch the movie, I did not get the impression that these are the worst of the worst or the bad of the bad. You start feeling sympathetic for the characters.
Yes.
You feel sorry for them.
The whole Deadshot and his daughter thing.
And his daughter. Though that was a cool scene with Batman and him and Batman fighting the Batman comes behind. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Another spoiler. The other thing, one thing I did like, because I didn't get into what I really like. I liked the fact that there was a Flash cameo.
Yeah,
because that totally surprised me. I didn't see that coming. I went, "Ooh, Flash!"
Because it adds him to the
to the universe. But I did like the cameo. I wish they did a little bit more of that. But the way that they portrayed the villains, to me, they were not villains.
Right, they weren't.
They were bad guys, yes, but they were not the worst of the worst. You end up feeling for every single one of them. You feel for Deadshot.
Yeah.
He can't be with his daughter. Yeah. And he's just he's a dad who wants to be with his daughter. Right. You feel for Harley.
Right.
She just wants to be loved. You know, they do that scene at the end where what they really want. She just wants a life
for three of them.
Yeah.
They did it for they didn't do it for everybody though.
Yeah, that's true. They did it. They tried to do it for what's his name?
It was incomplete. They didn't do it for everybody.
Yeah. They did it for El Diablo.
Yeah. But he
But they didn't do it for...
Which we'll get to that too, because that was a little weird as well.
Yeah.
The whole El Diablo thing.
They didn't do it for Katana.
No, we didn't do
it
that.
for Boomerang.
For Boomerang, they didn't do Boomerang. They didn't do Katana.
They didn't do
Rick Flag.
And it's like,
but we kind of knew what Rick Flag wanted.
He wanted
to be with June, which is the whole reason he's going after the Enchantress in the first place.
But again, that part was really incomplete, though.
Which part?
That whole dream sequence.
Yeah.
And again, it goes to your point. He's supposed to be the worst of the worst.
And they don't act like.
And they're supposed to be kind of emotionless.
Well, Katana was never.
Well, yeah, Katana.
Well, she's not a bad guy.
She was his like a mercenary type of
bodyguard.
Yeah.
But the problem was, and this because I thought about this, I went, but if they had made them, and this is some of the criticism that people have about this movie, they said this movie was not dark enough.
Right.
It was.
And in one sense, that makes sense. It's the Suicide Squad, and he's supposed to be the worst of the worst. However, if you make them too bad, you're not rooting for anyone.
Yeah.
And you're just like, because technically speaking, if you look at Deadshot in the comic book, Deadshot is a jerk. He's a killer.
Yes.
But in this movie, he's only killing bad guys. And they make a point of that.
Yeah.
You never killed any women, and you've never killed any children. You only kill bad guys. And so you're like, okay, so this is a criminal with honor.
Right.
He only kills the bad guys.
Maybe they're doing the whole Deadpool thing. Where at a period of time Deadpool he was bad, but then they transitioned him into like kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
And maybe this is kind of Suicide Squad.
Deadpool crazy though.
But see.
It's whatever mood he feels.
Exactly, but maybe they're doing the same thing for Suicide Squad.
Well,
it just didn't work.
Yeah, and Deadpool is the anti-hero.
Right.
But these guys are not heroes at all.
Exactly.
They're villains. They're supposed to be the worst of the worst.
At any point.
And then the problem I had was at the very beginning of the movie. As soon as they get into it, but this bothered me as I thought about it. You instantly know who's the Judas in the group.
Yeah.
It's Enchantress. Spoiler.
Yeah.
It's Enchantress.
Yes.
It happens. They could have kept that as a surprise.
Yes.
We know almost immediately before they go off on their first mission.
Yes.
It's the Enchantress. She's going to betray them all, and then you're kind of like, okay. And then Amanda Waller sends. When she sets her brother free, another spoiler here, her brother is part of the bad guy. He's this, and somebody's complained about, and I thought this was a good point too. Okay, so Amanda Waller has this ancient artifact in her closet.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Like, why would you keep it in the closet? Why not keep it in the suitcase where you have the heart?
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Right. Where you can control the Enchantress.
Right.
So her brother is the bad guy. She sends them off on a mission, and we're all sitting there thinking, well, she's not gonna go and take out her brother, and she doesn't. And she bolts, and I'm like,
well, the thing was they didn't know it was her brother.
Yeah, they didn't. But what I'm saying is that we knew, and they sit around. And we're like, okay, well, she's not. Her whole thing is to set her brother free and to take revenge.
We already know what's gonna happen.
So we know she's gonna turn. What I'm saying is, it should have been kept as a surprise. We should have been like, oh my gosh, it's the Enchantress that's the bad person.
And somebody else
in my opinion.
That's what I mean. Like, everything was just rushed. They didn't take the time to like give like a suspense to the movie.
Right. I agree.
I think they didn't give us enough to the imagination, because even the black nerd on YouTube said it's another bad guy creating some machine to destroy mankind. That was the same pretty much plot in Ghostbusters, the same plot in X-Men Apocalypse.
Same plot of Avengers, not Avengers. Yeah, Avengers 2.
Avengers 2. Which, that one worked. Yeah. But it's just...
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Well, the other problem too is, for me, number one, because they were supposed to be bringing together meta-humans. Technically, the only meta-humans were Enchantress.
Yeah.
Not technically a meta-human. She's a witch.
Right.
But she's joined to this human.
Well, Croc.
Woods. El Diablo.
And El Diablo. Well, and we're not sure what El Diablo is until we get to the. But he is a meta-human.
They had some weird. Enchantress and El Diablo had some weird conversation.
Right, at the end, which doesn't get explored. Because,
no, it doesn't.
Again, spoiler, when she says, how long have you seen?
Right.
Since I was a child. We're all going, what are they talking about here? You know,
he turns into that Aztec.
Yeah, and she's kind of like, warrior. They're not like us. I'm going like, what does she mean us? Who's El Diablo? I thought this was a guy.
Right.
And then he turns into something that's more than meta-human.
Right.
I mean, he's meta. Right. Going back to what we don't like, how soon they bonded.
Yes.
In this movie.
Yeah. For crooks and crazy.
Exactly. They're bad guys.
It didn't make sense.
They go into the bar, and all of a sudden, they have a drink, and they start talking about their problems. And El Diablo says, when they're fighting the big guy, I lost one family.
Right.
I'm not gonna let you take. I'm not gonna let you take but this family. I'm like, when did they become a family?
He didn't even want to help nobody in the first place.
He was a gangster.
Right.
He was a look.
They bonded over a drink.
Right. They don't even do that in real life.
How'd you guys feel about Croc?
I didn't like. He was too skinny.
Way too skinny.
Way too skinny.
If you saw him when he had the hoodie on, he was bigger. But we saw him in some scenes, especially when he went to go diving, swimming. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand that part. So he dives and swims, and then the other soldiers go with him, right?
Right.
Then he's attacking the soldiers.
No, he was attacking those monsters. They were underneath the water.
Oh, okay.
Guarding the bomb.
I probably fell asleep on that part. Anyways. Yeah. But anyways, his body he wasn't filled.
Yeah.
Like, he
wasn't big.
I thought Croc was okay. They didn't give him a whole lot, but I thought he was okay. Same way with Boomerang.
I didn't like the fact that every time he said something, it had to be something funny.
Who, Croc?
Yeah.
They always had to,
He's a killer, and again.
No, I thought it was funny when he first met Amanda Waller, and he goes, I like her.
Yeah.
But that was funny. The other thing that I found was a problem was some of the pacing and timing. Remember the scene where Deadshot finds the binder?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And he walks back, and he throws it at Rick Flag.
Yes.
And he goes, tell everybody the truth. And I'm sitting there thinking, dude, you did not have time to read that entire binder. You did not have time. It was like 5 seconds, and you walk up.
The binder was about this thick.
And the binder's that thick. Then Rick Flag, they walk. He goes when they walk in. He goes, "Did you read the part about me and June?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, when did you have time to read, dude? You must be a speed reader. That's one of the powers that Deadshot had. It didn't make any sense. It was like the time was too short. That just didn't make sense.
I think this whole movie could have been done because I'm not.
They needed to stretch it out.
Now you guys might be thinking, you guys actually like this movie?
Right.
Yeah, we did. These are all the problems with it.
See, the problem with this movie is it could have been done better.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. If they would have stretched it out longer, gave a little bit more dialogue in different places.
It was only an hour and 23 minutes. It should have been
they needed new. I guess they're all. You see, he's like new villains. It's like, wait, they're all villains.
Yeah, and that's the problem. They're supposed to be fighting threats that the normal police and army can't handle. Mm-hmm. The villain should have been something really evil. And the purpose for them fighting the villain, and the problem I had was right off the bat, they're fighting this magical entity.
Right.
And there is no one on their team who really has the ability, the powers to handle a magical entity. Because the only person they have...
Apparently Diablo.
Well, apparently Diablo. But even then, he didn't quite have it.
Because he I don't know what happened. He ran out of power after 15 seconds.
And they're fighting this magical entity. She creates this magical vortex.
Dancing.
Dancing. She's dancing. And it's sucking everything up. And they destroy this magical portal with a bomb.
Right.
And I'm going, that doesn't make any sense. The other thing that didn't make sense, I think we talked about this when we walked out. They're having that fight.
Yep.
And she's popping in and out like Nightcrawler from X-Men. Right. And they're hitting her and she's popping in and out. And finally she pops back to her original place. She says, I tire of this. She waves her hand like Darth Vader, takes away all of their guns. I'm going, what was the purpose of the hand-to-hand combat when you can do this?
It's only filler.
It's like we didn't. It's like, take some of those Joker scenes, put it back in if you need the filler. I mean, that didn't make any sense.
And one of my problems, and this goes into my problems with ghost movies too, they have all this power.
Right.
And never assess it. And she's been, alive like thousands and thousands of years. And wait, hold on. She was defeated before.
Right.
Yeah. How come they didn't? How come Amanda?
Why didn't they try to defeat her in the same way?
Right.
I was thinking the same thing.
How come? Okay, we have this magical entity.
Right. You had it hard. You could have just confessed. How do we stop you?
So these villains who have superpowers. I mean, superpowers. But long ago, these regular
human beings stopped her. Right.
But you know what I mean? So it's like
why are these guys having such a hard time? And they're supposed to be meta.
And this is the problem with a lot of movies. If you start asking a lot of questions with the movies,
right?
It's like
because it didn't make logical sense.
No, it didn't.
And because here was the other problem in the movie, she apparently can read their minds.
Right.
Because she's able to tap into their minds and give them what they most desire.
Right.
She knows what they're thinking.
Right.
So at the end, when they defeat her,
that
Harley walks up to her.
Well, my thing about that, because Harley's crazy, you never really tell.
But she did. But
remember
the dream sequence though. She could control the mind because she gave her a dream.
Right.
Because
and Harley said, "You can give me what I really want." Yes. You can bring back Mr. J. Yes. I'm thinking she's not looking at her mind, saying, "You're getting ready to betray me."
Right. Right.
It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like if she's really supposed to be this crazy, I feel like she could.
But she's crazy because she wants her ultimate goal, and we saw her ultimate goal.
And I was going to say, because that's the other problem. She's supposed to be crazy, but that moment when we see what she really wants, it is the most sane, lucid thing. It's like she just wants to be happy. She wants a family, which I thought was nuts, because I'm thinking, like you, I'm thinking Harley's crazy.
Right.
And also, but we're seeing her wanting this perfectly normal existence.
How come she couldn't get that before she met Joker, though?
And I said, those are the gaps in the movie that I had problems with when you're watching, especially when you get back and think about it. You're like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't work.
And this is the problem. You have directors and people, good actors, playing a role that they don't truly understand. Yes, we're talking about comic books, but we're talking about what?
How many serious thing?
Right, but how many years has she been a character?
Who, Carly?
Yeah.
Since the 90s when they introduced her on Batman the Animated Series.
So you have
over 20 years.
You have this incredible source to look at.
Right.
And see.
Right.
And then even with her, one thing I didn't like how they sexualized Harley, because if you look at Black Widow, right, in the comic books they kind of do, but you look at Black Widow in the movies, she is tough. You have women want to beat her. She kicks them, but Harley in the booty shorts and the bra. I didn't like. Yeah, I didn't like that. I don't like it because I
thought it was unnecessary.
It was, and we're living in a world where sexualizing women is increasingly on comic books. It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. Yeah,
and we went to even Comic-Con. We saw so many women dressed up like that, and it's like, wait a minute, hold on.
We saw a lot of Harley Quinn.
Right, and that's not the original. She's never really been sexualized.
Not like that.
Not like that.
They're doing it more in the comic books now. They're trying to reflect where she is in the comic books, because they did have a scene where she had her normal Harley costume from the Batman series.
Right.
That was a cool scene, by the way. She and the Joker. Yeah, and when they did that one scene when they showed the Joker in the tuxedo, she's wearing, and that's directly from the Alex Ross.
She also had the costume when she pulled out the trunk.
Yeah,
and that's probably the best portrayal.
I think they could have given her a different costume.
Yeah.
I know that they were trying to go with the whole sexuality thing. I'm like, I didn't think that was necessary.
Because to
especially because she know the role.
But to me,
she know the role.
Yeah, and I want to say that too real quick. Margot Robbie, I thought a lot of people have criticized, I shouldn't say a lot, people criticize her as Harley. I thought she nailed it. Yeah. I thought she was, somebody actually I saw, they went, why is she talking like that? I went, that's how Harley talks.
Right.
That's the way Harley talks. I think Margot Robbie did a great job being Harley Quinn.
You talk about everything about Joker?
You said you didn't like, that you feel like he was just drunk. I mean,
he didn't give me the insane, crazy Joker that I'm used to. He gave me this person, this thug who's just always on drugs, always drunk, and just crazy from all the drugs he does.
Like the growls and stuff like that.
No, I did like his laugh.
I like his laugh. That was probably a good laugh.
That was probably the best thing. But
but the laugh was good.
But
it was a good laugh.
Again, the Heath Ledger Joker
was
the
quintessential Joker,
and then the original Joker from Batman, from Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson was good.
I think those two to me were the best Jokers. Different, but
they both played crazy. They did crazy really well.
And this one was more so Joker. I'm gonna get. He wasn't insane.
No,
I think he had. Even that scene when he killed that Joker, they killed that other gangster guy.
Right.
It's kind of interesting. It's like that's not even his.
And that seemed forced.
Right.
Like, we got to show he's crazy.
Right. And at the club, it's like, would Joker be at a club? I mean, I see an abandoned warehouse.
Right.
I see something like that, and it when when he was laying down on the carpet and all, I guess he had that design around him and said, "Hey, we found his henchman said we found her," or something like that. And he, it just like that's not the right setting of Joker.
By the way, I want to mention something about that. I've seen that part several times. Something I was thinking about that. If you notice the way it goes around him,
Right.
it looks like the anti-life equation a little bit from the Batman movie.
Oh, it does.
And I looked at it several times. I can't tell for certain, but I thought, is that the anti-life equation? Just saying, could be, don't know. I'm just wondering.
I do think they're trying to portray Joker as being immortal because of that whole helicopter crashing.
Yeah, it's like, how did he survive? And that's the other thing. Everybody in this movie survived the helicopter crash. The Suicide Squad straight out have a helicopter crash. Everybody survives.
Right.
Amanda Waller has a helicopter crash.
Everybody dies. Wait.
Everybody but her died. I mean, she died. She lives. Everybody else dies.
The fit soldiers.
Yeah.
You could have a couple of them. Like the fit soldiers.
Right.
And she just gets out. Oh, okay.
Right. Now here's my other problem. They're fighting these creatures, supernatural, right?
Yeah.
Why is Harley there? Because the only thing Harley, now somebody said this and it's true. In the comic books, the reason she's part of the Suicide Squad is because of her intelligence. Right. Harley Quinn is actually highly intelligent.
Yes.
She's very smart.
Yeah.
We do not see this in the movie. No. She basically is swinging a bat. She does the acrobatics. But it's like somebody had brought up, but you got all of these fit soldiers. You got all these trained, highly trained soldiers.
She's also waiting for Joker to come and free her.
Right, but what I mean is, but why is she on the squad? And what I mean by on the squad, in the context of this, she doesn't fit.
She doesn't.
Right.
Actually, none of them, with the exception of El Diablo, fit.
And Waller.
Deadshot has some type of help because he hits everything.
But Bullets is not going to kill Enchantress, who was one of the main villains. Not going to kill her brother, who was a supernatural entity.
It's true.
Bullets is not going to stop him.
Yeah,
Boomerang. Have you thought about this? Boomerang didn't throw his boomerangs a whole lot.
No,
he mostly was slashing people with the boomerangs.
What was with his unicorn?
I heard it said that they were trying to somehow. It was like a tick off something from Deadpool. That they're trying to make.
Right. And
I didn't see Deadpool, so I don't know.
And again,
you saw it too.
Yeah. And again, it's like you can't do that because that movie was on a whole nother level. They have people that knew what they were doing to play that role, and then the unicorn that really seemed forced. Because he's
Deadpool.
And the other character, Slipknot,
that was
too early. They didn't show one.
That was really a waste.
Yeah.
When people said that Boomerang was a hole, because in the movie I understand because of the whole.
We're gonna do the Captain America language. Get this family friendly. Go ahead.
I understand why now because the whole. I feel like he did it on purpose just to see if the bombs are actually real.
I found out that scene was kind of borrowed from a Suicide Squad comic, where Captain Boomerang did do that to Slipknot, except in the comic book they blew off his arm, not his head.
They could have,
it didn't matter. He wasn't going to survive.
Yeah.
All he could do was climb walls.
It was a waste.
Yeah, that was another thing. I looked at what his abilities were. I'm going, this guy climbs walls.
Like, what are you going to help us with?
And they introduced him as, he knows the most about knots and he can climb anything.
What's that going to do?
That makes him the worst of the worst, the bad of the bad. Okay, so that's the stuff we didn't like about it. So let's go on to this. And again, I'll say that I think they made the villains too sympathetic because they wanted us to like them and root for them. The problem
Guardians
is
of the Galaxy and Deadpool.
Yeah, the problem is they're supposed to be the worst of the worst, and either you're going to make them the worst of the worst, or they're going to be sympathetic. You cannot have both. And so for that reason, I look at it and go, that didn't work.
Right.
Because I should have walked away. And I think, let me explain like this. There's a show that I love watching. It's called The Blacklist.
Right. Yep.
And it has a character on there, Raymond Reddington.
Yep.
Reddington is smart, highly intelligent. He is the bad guy, and they're going after other bad guys.
Yep.
And there are times you see, they call him Red. There are times you see Red, he'll do something, and you go like, okay, Red, he's not a bad guy. And then Red turns around and kills somebody. And then you go, oh yeah, I forgot. Reddington is a really bad man. He's a bad man.
Yeah.
We didn't get this though here. The one time I thought it happened was when Amanda Waller told Deadshot
to kill
Harley.
Yeah.
He shoots at her.
Misses.
He misses on purpose.
Yep.
And I'm going, and again, there was no way out for them for that. Because if he shoots and kills Harley, well, wait a minute, you can't kill Harley because she's got to come back in other movies.
Exactly.
But if he kills Harley, then all of a sudden you lose all of that sympathy for Will Smith's character, Deadshot.
Right.
I'm going. So it's like you can't say they're the worst of the worst and then portray them in a sympathetic light. It just doesn't work.
And he was so sad when she left.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like
they've known each other for 5 seconds.
They made it seem like they fell in love or something like that.
Yeah,
Gosh,
yeah.
it's just like
when they should have been the worst to actually portray their villain side is when Deadshot and Harley made the plan. When I give the signal, we're gonna kill them all the soldiers, and we're gonna take the remote from them, and we're gonna get out of here.
What scene was that?
It was
We said we're gonna kill who?
He was planning on killing.
Before they killed Slipknot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah, but again, they would have lost that sympathy for them because it would show. Because they would have shown, oh, these really are bad criminals. Yeah. I think if they would have portrayed them like Reddington, where they have them do some good things. Yeah. In the comic books, there's something like that happens where Captain Boomerang gets embarrassed by this one character.
Right.
This is in the comic books. And later on, the character needs help. And she embarrasses him in front of all these people.
Right.
So later on, she needs help, and they're fighting. And this guy's getting ready to shoot this other character, his colleague, his teammate, in the back.
Right.
Boomerang goes, she embarrassed me in front of everybody, and he lets her get the kill. Mm-hmm. And you go, wow, dude, really? If something like that would have happened, you would have looked at Boomerang going, wow, he's a jerk.
Right.
But he still would have been one of the worst of the worst. So that it didn't work well for what they were saying about the characters. They never portrayed that with the characters. Right. So we know we didn't like all that. Let's talk about the character. You guys got anything else before I go on? I think we're done.
I think so.
No, we're good.
Got it all out?
Yeah.
We're good.
Oh, one thing. I remember you said this when we were leaving the movie theater. Out of all the things that are going on in this city, this crazy machine in the air, lightning shooting down places, no superhero.
Where are the other superheroes?
No superhero shows up anywhere.
Nothing. Batman.
No Flash.
You have this big old thing swirling in the sky. No other superheroes show up.
Right.
No Flash, and the Flash did show up in a cameo.
Right.
The other thing, and I shared this with you guys, and for those of you watching this, you may not know, they were in Midway City.
Yep.
In the comic books, Midway City is the home base of Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Yep.
Which means that at least at this point in the DC universe, the cinematic universe, Hawkman and Hawkgirl do not exist.
Right.
Because Midway City is their home base. But no other superhero. Yeah, I have a problem with that.
We know Superman can't come because he's supposed to be dead.
Batman.
No Batman. Where's Wonder Woman?
Where's Wonder Woman? Where's Flash?
Where's Flash?
Cyborg.
At least there's a cyborg. We know he's out there.
Can we get Red Tornado? Can we get somebody?
I would have taken Aquaman. I mean, somebody. You would have thought that some other superhero, because there's this huge event happening in the sky.
Right.
Nothing. And I'm going, that's kind of hard to believe that no other superhero will show up. But I had that same problem with Thor, The Dark World. Yeah. Where those big obelisks had come into our dimension and it's going across the landscape.
But that was still a good movie.
No, but no other superhero showed up. Where's the Avengers?
but Thor though.
But anyway, moving on. Okay, so let's talk about some of the characters as we end up here. We already said we like Margot Robbie. I thought she nailed it as Harley. She did a great job as Harley. Will Smith's Deadshot.
It was Will Smith. It wasn't Deadshot.
Yeah.
Good acting. But
which was my concern I said my concern is because Will Smith pretty much plays Will Smith, and I thought that's going to be a problem playing Deadshot. I don't think it was a problem and it wasn't.
It's like to me, a great actor could have played that role with Denzel Washington because he could still play bad.
Good point. I agree.
I think Training Day, he played evil. That was evil. That was evil. But
he could have played a great Deadshot.
Yes, and he did. His character.
You're right.
I think Training Day.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
But Will Smith played great actor. But Will Smith played Will Smith.
He brought the charm,
and he dumbed down. To me, he dumbed down Deadshot.
That's why I say it's a problem because I have never seen Will Smith really play any evil characters. Yeah. And he's supposed to be the worst of the worst, the bad of the bad. And he's not this in this movie. You feel for Deadshot. It's like, he just wants to be with his daughter.
He's more charismatic.
I did expect when he shot that bullet in the air. Remember when they first gave him a gun? Mm-hmm. To show me what you can do.
Shoot the other guy.
No, I thought he shot the bullet in the air on purpose to make it come straight down and hit the dude in the head, that would have been perfect. It would have been a dead shot.
But it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
Because they couldn't. In one sense, I think Will Smith has a brand. He's a certain way, and they don't want to take away. It's like Jimmy Stewart, the actor Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart was always Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, there's certain actors. They are who they are. You can't take away.
George Clooney.
Yeah, George Clooney. George Clooney is always George Clooney.
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart always Jimmy Stewart.
I like that George Clooney.
Don't get me started. As I have said to you before, that Batman movie with George Clooney does not exist. In my world, that movie does not exist.
And
Moving on.
Batman vs Superman is almost there too. But anyway,
So Will Smith, I thought he did a good job though, but he didn't portray. I like what you said.
Like
it was Will Smith being Deadshot playing Will Smith.
Yeah,
I thought that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Okay, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
It would.
I thought she was spot on.
But it was, if you ever see some clips from How to Get Away with Murder, it's the same, ruthless, brutal. I get what I want.
Yeah, I have to say that there was one scene I did not like.
The ending.
Well, the scene where she shoots all the FBI agents.
I saw that coming.
I didn't like that part.
I thought it was unnecessary. I thought it was overdone and forced.
Yeah.
They were trying to show, and for those of you, again, spoiler, it's the scene in the movie when they are going to rescue this person, the Suicide Squad. We find out the person is Amanda Waller. And before she and Rick Flag leaves the room, they have all these FBI agents who have been monitoring everything. She takes a gun and she just shoots them all and kills them in cold blood.
You know what's crazy though? They made Amanda Waller worse than the actual villains.
Yes.
And that's the problem.
They made her worse than the villains. And the thing about it was, I think it was forced. It was not necessary. She had already proven.
I knew it was.
And by her acting, Viola Davis proved, she showed, I'm tough. You do not want to mess with me.
Right.
You do not want to mess with me. When they did that, I went, that was unnecessary. And I saw another reviewer that said, for something like that would happen, Amanda Waller is more classy than that. And I agreed. I thought Amanda Waller wouldn't have done it like that. It would have been done another way if she had to take them out. But just to take and shoot them
she should have
cold-bloodedly.
Deadshot do it or somebody else.
That would be something you would have Deadshot do.
Right. Yep.
That would be something Deadshot would do. You would go Deadshot, take them all out.
Right.
But she didn't need to because, they're trying to show, Amanda Waller is really bad. We already knew Amanda Waller was bad. There was no... So I thought that scene was unnecessary. I thought it was just forced.
Yes.
I knew it was going to happen.
You knew it was going to happen?
I did.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, what?
I expected it.
And that just really made her a cold-blooded killer. It really did. And the excuse of, what? They didn't have clearance. I'm like, come on. The other actors, I thought everybody else they did an okay job. The guy who played, I don't know all these actors' names, but the guy who played Rick Flag, I thought he was okay. The Rick Flag character, I had a little bit of problems with. I'm thinking, dude, you're supposed to be a hardened, toughened military man.
And you fall.
And you got taken. You got played by Amanda Waller.
Right. And how did Amanda Waller predict that they will fall in love?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Well, the idea of Amanda Waller is that she is supposed to be able to look at people, size them up psychologically, and be able to tell this is what will get them. This is why she's in that job. Yeah, and she said, "My job is to make people to do things they don't want to do."
Right.
That's what she does. It's part of her job is psychological manipulation.
Right.
So we could explain it, but there was a chance it wouldn't happen. But it made sense to me. It made sense as to but it just kind of like he's supposed to be the leader. He's supposed to be leading this group, and he got played.
He's the first one to cry.
Technically, yeah, he is the first one to cry. Captain Boomerang again. Okay, he didn't do much.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Killer Croc. Okay, didn't do a whole lot. Enchantress.
Dude, that's probably the worst part.
Yeah, she as a villain. I'm like, no.
No, and
the whole thing just didn't make sense.
Yeah,
it was just like why? There's so many other villains they could have used.
They could have had her. They could have had her be, I guess, anti-hero this movie, right? Mm-hmm. And then for a sequel, kind of at the end of this movie, kind of led into a sequel where she could have been the villain.
And she betrays everybody.
The sequel.
That's how they should have done it.
The sequel, because imagine seeing her powers for, I guess you would say, for good or on the side of the Suicide Squad, kind of assess her powers, because that would have been I think that would have been cool than have her be the villain, so to speak.
I agree, because they're probably going to do a sequel, and that I think you're right.
And you couldn't get more. You couldn't, because she's a new. I didn't even know
this is the movie we would have written.
I didn't even know who she was until this movie, and you got to give a little, like Loki I knew kind of a little bit, but
Right.
Marvel did such a great job building that character that he's like, you take Loki out, everybody's going to get set. And Enchantress, she could have had a little bit more backstory.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't feel for her.
There's been a lot more backstory throughout the whole thing.
I think you're right. I think that what they should have done was have her fight with the team.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then in a sequel, she betrays the team.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that would have been like, oh wow, dang.
I gotta now it's like I gotta watch the second one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and because they could have done something at the end where it's like, hey, is she doing something?
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like, is the sequel going to be about Joker and Harley Quinn now?
Yeah. Okay, so and El Diablo, I actually liked his character, and I like what they were doing with him. It just, again,
I didn't like.
he wasn't the bad of the bad.
I didn't like the fact that they made him so soft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you ever know anything about gangsters in LA,
right?
They kill their own mom.
But the thing that you have with him though is he recognizes there's something. Yeah, he's remorseful, and he recognizes there's something wrong with me in terms of why do I have this power?
Right. That is true.
And he can't explain it.
Right.
And he feels like it's a curse.
A gangster who wants power is not gonna sit down and think like, "Dang, why do I have this power?" He's gonna think like, "How am I gonna use this power to get exactly what I want?"
Well, which is what he was doing early on.
Yeah,
He had all this power,
he
but
burned
then
his family.
he killed his family.
But still,
and
then, I feel like he should have just dove deeper into the dark side.
A little kind of like a Ghost Rider.
Yeah, but it makes sense to me though too that because the way they portrayed him is that he loved his family,
right?
He loved his wife, and the thing about it that I think he didn't like was he lost control. He didn't kill them on purpose. Mm-hmm. He lost control, and he ended up killing them, which I think you're right. It could have either pushed him the other way or the way that he went in the movie.
You can't do Punisher and label it PG-13. And I think with Suicide Squad, with some of it had to blur the line of not.
It's a PG-13 movie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like not even close to rated R. It's way over here as PG, and it's like,
and that's because of mostly the violence in the movie.
And it's pretty much about we're about keeping the character to the truest form to the comic book. These guys don't have the experience. The producer, the directors, they don't have even the actors. They don't have the experience to chart changing characters.
Yeah.
They didn't do that in Marvel. They kept kind of the source material,
changed a
little bit, but kept a true character. Like Iron Man's still a jerk, Captain America's still a hero. It kept it true, but DC is just like, and that's a fundamental
problem. They changed it too, and that was a problem with which is why a lot of people did not like Suicide Squad, because they feel like these are not the characters. It should have been darker. If they had portrayed the characters the way they are portrayed in the comic books, it would have been a darker movie, and it probably would have been an R-rated movie.
And see, you wouldn't have, because they make this movie like this movie has to make, I think, $700 million, $800 million to succeed. And that's the problem. It should have been like when they created Deadpool had a lower budget, and it succeeded. They didn't even know that it's going to succeed this much, right? And it should have been, rated R movies don't really make that much money at the box office, but it made this. They dumbed down the characters to kind of market to kids. Yeah. And you can't do that with Susan. Batman.
Well, and the other problem too, because I know they're thinking about making more movies R-rated, and I think the fallacy that they get into is they're thinking, if we make it R-rated, it'll be successful.
Yeah.
No matter if your writing is not good, if the direction is not good, if the pacing of the movie is not good, making it R-rated is not going to draw people. If people go see it and they go, this is garbage.
Right. And it's interesting because Christopher Nolan, I know, people like it, people don't like it. His movie, going to see his Batman movies, that was a darker, and it didn't have the violence.
Right.
It just, the setting, why was Batman versus Superman darker than Suicide Squad?
Right.
Yeah.
It was darker.
It just, Suicide Squad was happy, even, the characters, the typesetting they used.
Right. They needed more. If they would have had more senseless killing, and made it,
and it's starting to say that.
Then I probably would have gone see it.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like,
No, I see your
these-
point.
You have these
Why
psychotic
make the movie?
criminals,
Yeah.
and
Well-
nobody's doing any type of senseless killing.
And that was my point. In order for this movie to be truly the Suicide Squad, they would have had portrayed them the way they are
Right.
characterized in the
I
comics.
was expecting at least one, like at least Harley smashing somebody over the head with her mallet, and like, oops,
Right.
I thought he was a bad guy.
Yeah,
like
yeah. Even that. I mean, everybody they were not true to the characters, and I think that's why I looked at the movie. I go, while it was entertaining, at the same time, they didn't portray the characters the way the
Right.
characters really are.
Right.
And if you
Right.
don't do that, you don't really have the comic book version. You have a version of the comic book, but it's not the comic book version.
It's not.
Okay, so with that being said, and we talked about everything about this, what in terms of a letter rating, what would you give the movie?
I'll give it a C.
C. Okay,
Yes.
C?
I'd say about a C+.
C plus. I gave it a C plus. Now that we talked about thinking, maybe I should give it a C minus. But a C to a C. I'm kind of torn now. I mean, because now I'm seeing like there's a lot of things wrong with this movie.
Right.
There's a lot of things wrong, but it was still enjoyable.
Yeah.
Right.
So I gave it a C plus originally. So C plus, which my grandmother says C plus is a strong B minus. So it's like a C plus almost. I can't quite say a B or even a B minus. It's a C plus. I think it could have been better. I think they were struggling with. We got to make this something that they like the villains.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is they were trying to make
Right.
the villains anti-heroes.
Right.
They're not heroes. They're not.
Not one.
That's the whole purpose of picking them, because
Right.
they will do what heroes won't do.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And
exactly.
actually, in this movie, you don't see anybody doing anything
No.
that a hero would not have done.
No.
They
No.
sacrifice for each other. They're there for each other.
Before that, when he set the other guy up,
Right. That was at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So, would you recommend people go see it?
yeah, if you want to see it and just to see what we see, I would definitely say see it. I mean, it is enjoyable. I
Okay.
enjoyed it. It's going to be a hit or miss for some people.
Redbox.
Redbox.
That's look. I'm married and I have a kid. I rate things in a sense of spend my money or Redbox it,
Okay.
and it's a Redbox for me.
Okay. I thought about it. Would I recommend people go see this movie? I said, I thought it was entertaining. So I'd say if you haven't seen it, and you want to go see it with all of our spoilers, I would say go see it, or go see it, or if you feel like I don't know, Redbox. I would agree with you, but I would say first go see the movie. I thought it was pretty entertaining. With all the things that are wrong with it, it turned out to be somewhat entertaining for me at least, and I think for you guys. So that's it. That's our review. These are just our opinions. You may have your own. As a matter of fact, we have a comment section below. So just go ahead below, write your comments if you've seen the movie. Tell us what you thought about it. Tell us what you thought about what we said here. And then we'll come back and we'll do some more reviews in the future. The next superhero movie that's coming up, I think, is Doctor Strange.
That's gonna be
So I'm looking forward to that.
Looking forward to that.
Oh,
Yeah, so
my
that will
gosh.
probably be the next superhero movie that review. Until then, this is Mike Davis, the old guy who likes comic, with Aaron, the Wolverine Richard, Dante, the Nightwing Wesley, saying thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the future. As Stanley has always said, Excelsior, onward and upward.